Good afternoon, I'm Shane Masters with the Midday News. Special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. Former Prime Minister PJ Patterson was rushed to the University Hospital last night after he was involved in a vehicular crash at his Norfolk St. Andrew home. Mr. Patterson was driving the vehicle when the crash happened. TVJ's Dashan Hendricks reports.
7:45 Monday evening, October 14, a date and a time which brought anxious moments for the family and friends of 84-year-old former Prime Minister PJ Patterson. That is Mr. Patterson, who was behind the wheels of a Suzuki Swift motor car, crashed at his Norfolk St. Andrew home. We understand Mr. Patterson was helping a family friend to maneuver a difficult segment of his driveway when he lost control of the vehicle. The vehicle came down and brushed the center post right here. In a corner of the guardhouse were the visible remains of parts of the car. The barrier, which was supposed to restrict entry, was ripped from its post. It was still flat on the ground when our cameras visited the location. Just outside the yard, more signs of the crash, which some say could have claimed the life of Mr. Patterson. The first responders, who applied basic medical care until an ambulance arrived to take him to hospital, say he was shaken up. The car which he was driving fared worse. The major worry for Mr. Patterson was his knees. It bore the brunt of the impact and was swollen. At the private 28th wing of the University Hospital, frantic moments as friends discussed the situation with the medical chief of staff, Dr. Carl Bruce. We understand that shortly after, he was taken to have an x-ray before further treatment and that pain medication was administered. When we left, friends and his son Richard hanged around, waiting to hear news of Mr. Patterson's condition while Mr. Patterson was under observation. A release from the People's National Party said when his medical evaluation is complete, a more fulsome bulletin on his condition will be released. Dashan Hendricks, TVJ News.
Justice of the Peace and Attorney at Law Peter Champagne says though the abolition of the Preliminary Inquiry Act has removed the fear of some witnesses to come forward, the change has sparked instances of the police tampering with evidence. He was addressing the annual general meeting of the Lay Magistrates Association St. Mary chapter in Port Maria over the weekend. More in this report.
A legislative amendment meant to increase the likelihood of witnesses coming forward, but instead it is hampering the process in some instances. Attorney at Law and Justice of the Peace Peter Champagne says there has been issues of the witness authenticity and even instances of police interference since the abolition of the preliminary inquiry hearing. This was part of the Committal Proceedings Act, which came into effect in 2016.
There have been claims in the past, and in fact, actual situations where police officers, I think in the West there was one case, where the policeman basically wrote a statement and signed it with another person's name and so on, and said this person witnessed the crime. And when it was examined with great scrutiny, it was discovered that this person did not exist. The police know that this man is a killer, can't get the evidence, so he say, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a statement and pretend that John Brown saw him when he killed so and so, and put it forward.
He says that is where JPs come in.
So as to preserve the integrity of that statement and that process. Whenever a statement is collected in that fashion, it has to be what I would term in simple terms, authenticated by a justice of the peace or a police officer above a certain rank.
Mr. Champagne says other regulations such as the Zones of Special Operations ZOSO Act has increased the JP's role.
The justices of the peace and their functions are outlined in going to these areas and seeing to the protection of rights. There is also increased jurisdiction in relation to dangerous drugs matters because the intention ultimately is for the justice of the peace who practice in the lay magistrates court not just to try bad word cases and threat cases, but for them to also be having jurisdiction over drug cases where there's a small quantity of ganja involved.
He says the face of justice is changing. Therefore, he's encouraging justices of the peace to become more knowledgeable about the law and the importance of their roles. Dwayne Anderson, TVJ News.
Dengue cases in St. Ann continue to increase, with over 700 suspected cases since the start of the year. Medical officer for the parish, Dr. Tamika Henry, gave an update at the recent meeting of the municipal corporation.
Of the cases that have been reported, we have had over 80% matching the case definition for being a suspected case, which is fever plus or minus. Well, plus 2 of the other symptoms, which is joint pain, muscle pain, headache, rash, abdominal pain, vomiting, as well as diarrhea.
Persons in the 5 to 14 as well as the 25 to 44 age groups have been mainly affected. Most cases are in the Brownstown, Alexandria, and Claremont areas.
We really want people to clean up their surroundings. We really want people to check their water pumps. If they have cars in their yards, check it. Alright? If they have anything that can store water, guttering around the roof, the air conditioning units, and so on, check those. In the daytime, for these girls want people to wear long hair. Deep they should tell them this as well. Alright? If they have mosquito nets, sleep on the mosquito nets.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and as part of our aim to help sensitize the public, we will focus on some advice from the head of the mammography unit at the University Hospital of the West Indies, Dr. Daria Cornwall. According to Dr. Cornwall, your morning habits may be causing undue worries and pain. More in this report from TVJ's Kelisha Williams.
1 in every 21 women in Jamaica gets breast cancer, so it's nothing to treat lightly. Persons feeling tenderness, lumps, and pain in the breasts are therefore urged to seek medical attention. But according to Dr. Daria Cornwall, pain in the breasts could be caused by several things that can be solved by a change of habit. For instance, wearing the wrong bra sizes, or even bench press exercises at the gym. In fact, she says a common morning drink could be the cause of pain in the breasts.
Sometimes we even ask them about coffee drinking because coffee drinking can be linked with breast pain. So we may say, okay, stop the coffee for a couple of months, 2 or 3 months.
Women feeling breast pains, especially those younger than 40, are often advised to increase their vitamin E intake. Vitamin E foods include nuts such as almonds and peanuts, as well as green leafy vegetables such as broccoli. Dr. Cornwall also urged medical professionals to be more proactive, especially when dealing with women patients over 40 years old.
So each health provider is actually at a point of opportunity. When you interact with a lady who is 40, it's an opportunity to get her to get herself checked out with respect to breast, even if you don't have nothing to do with the breast. Each health professional, you send her for a mammogram regardless. If you're a family nurse practitioner, you're in the clinic, nurse, anybody who comes into contact with a woman of the age should send them.
Now, men can get breast cancer too, but the odds are far more favorable. Just 1 in nearly 3,000 Jamaican men gets breast cancer. But according to Dr. Cornwall, that is no reason to be unconcerned.
No man wants to be that 3,000 man. Understood? So let me just talk to the man quickly. We don't do routine screening of breast for men. But we encourage men to be aware of themselves. If you feel any lump, any swelling, coming right through up to 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, any man who feels a change in his breast must go to the doctor and get that checked out.
Dr. Cornwall was addressing the Jamaica Cancer Society Symposium on Breast Cancer. Kelisha Williams, TVJ News.
And it's time for a break, but stay with us. More stories right after these messages. Welcome back, continuing the news. The St. James Police say they are improving their quick response capabilities and should be better able to protect the parish's residents from robbers and other criminals. The police recently received 15 motorbikes to help patrol St. James. Speaking at a function at the Freeport Police Station Monday, the head of the St. James Police, Superintendent Vernon Ellis, said 23 people are now in training to use the bikes.
We'll teach you to operate within the environment that you will be operating with the bikes, and you will simulate these exercises with weapons, with the conditions, weather conditions, built up area conditions. So it won't just be riding motorcycles and getting out of this course.
I was in Colombia recently into the city of Medellin, and that is how they police their space, by motorized patrol. Not vehicular patrol, but motorized patrol. And they get around in the city lanes and the city alley quite easily. And for that, I think it will be a big game changer.
A multi-million-dollar technology gift has been provided to the Caribbean Christian Center for the Deaf in St. Andrew. Authorities hope it will help improve the fortunes of the deaf community. TVJ's Prince Moore reports.
Deafness is not a state of disability, but rather a different culture.
And that's why the Universal Service Fund USF did not hesitate when called on to build a new computer lab at the Caribbean Christian Center for the Deaf on Kasha Park Road in St. Andrew. The access point is to allow the students greater exposure to information. In addition to the internet facilities, the center was provided with new air conditioning units.
We have spent approximately $8 million to outfit your lab with the latest equipment, to include 15 computers, 2 multi-purpose printers, a server, and a solar facility.
But the goodwill did not stop there. The USF promised additional technological gadgets.
And I'm going to be making a pitch, Mr. Principal, to make sure that you get some tablets. It is so configured that you can be so treated or assisted.
Head of the Caribbean Christian Center for the Deaf, Earl Daly, is pleased with the new gifts. He is hopeful the facility will help to change the fortunes of many deaf persons in Jamaica. Most deaf persons in Jamaica are subjected to low-status jobs, limited education, limited job opportunities, and are culturally cut off from the society.
We are indeed very, very grateful to you and your team for providing us with the resources. And I can assure you that we are going to use it. In fact, we are using it already, because we have a cohort of students who participated in exam last term, and they did very well, very, very well at the CXC level. You know, they did very, very well.
Prince Moore, TVJ News.
In regional news, CARICOM countries are being urged to pay greater attention to statistics and its impact on the lives of the regional population. In a message marking the 11th observance of Caribbean Statistics Day, CARICOM Secretary General Aaron LaRocque said he is encouraging Caribbean countries to reflect on the power of statistics and how it impacts our daily lives, including in life and death situations such as natural disasters that affect us ever so often in CARICOM. He said a very critical use of statistics is in weather forecasting, which uses statistical modeling techniques to make predictions or forecasts. Mr. LaRocque said one important and interesting indicator that the authorities try to measure in the region is the number of households and persons that are near to coastal areas. He also stated that this figure is approximately 100% for some member states. He said the data was underlined in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian, which struck the Bahamas last month with loss of lives, destruction of property, damage to the infrastructure, and overall devastation to parts of the country. News now in sports. The Reggae Boys will be hunting their fourth straight win in League B of the CONCACAF Nations League on Tuesday as they take on Aruba in Curacao. But as Simon Preston reports, there may be a few issues for the Jamaicans who will be playing on an artificial surface.
Aruba won't be welcoming Jamaica to Oranje Stad as their home ground, the Guillermo Prospero Stadium, does not meet CONCACAF and FIFA standards. As a result, all of their home games in the Nations League will be in Curacao. The Reggae Boys have experience on this ground, having beaten Bonaire 6-0 on it last year. Despite it not being a genuine surface, assistant coach Jerome Waite expects the team to improve on their performance from Saturday when they defeated Aruba 2-0 at the office.
We know it's not going to be easy to play on that surface, but at the same time, we'll still have the better of play. But we need, we as a team need to understand that the application going forward will be, pretty much very important. And we know that they will perform better come the next game.
Veteran defender Adrian Mariappa zones in on an area that needs more work.
I think just our attention to detail in the final third. Because I thought we had some good moves, created some good chances, but like I said today, I just thought maybe it was a bit of concentration, but I just think we just a little bit off it, like I said, and obviously today we're glad we didn't get punished at the other end for it, but we need to be better moving forward.
Despite their home games being played on the road, captain of Aruba Eric Abdul vows to put in a strong performance against the Jamaicans.
It is disappointing that we're not playing at home. However, we can't wait to see Jamaica again and show them that we're going to fight again and give everything again.
With the likes of Leon Bailey, Bobby Reid and Peter Lee Vassell absent from the squad as they recover from injuries, Waite is encouraging other players to make use of their opportunity to cement places in future squads.
If you observe our last two games and the tempo of those players, they are fully professional players. They weren't here today, and the fact that other players are given the opportunity, they need to ensure that they make the coaching staff job be more difficult. And they have to understand that it's a game at hand and your performance must be to your utmost best at all times.
Kickoff is at 6 p.m. Jamaica time. Another victory would move Jamaica one step closer to League A promotion and Gold Cup 2021 qualification. Simon Preston reporting for TVJ Sports.
Thanks, Simon. And that's the Midday News. I'm Shane Masters. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.